Sharing today, right?
I don't know. All right. Well, I just would like to say thank you, Mr. Cliff Freeman, for joining me here live today. I appreciate your time and attention.
Well, I'm excited to be here, Michelle. Thanks. I appreciate it. All the way up from Texas to Michigan, huh?
Oh, yeah, all the way right here in my home office. How about that? And thank you. I know that you have quite a lot going on these days. A construction project to boot today. So thank you for giving us your time and attention. And the purpose of this conversation here today is I'm having a great time exposing people to the culture that we have here at eXp Realty and meeting the people of this amazing company and opportunity in front of us. And I'd like to just take a moment to introduce you. You are Cliff Freeman from Texas and have been in the business more than 30 years, right?
Well, you can see, yeah, you can see the some of the gray hair and the lack thereof. Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. And you have been a mentor to probably over 1,000 high producing real estate agents over the years. And also you are an independent broker owner. So you certainly were not asleep at the wheel in your real estate career and you're still not, because you run a podcast called Cliff Notes, which is all about value add and contribution and giving back to agents. There's probably more that you're going to add to that conversation, and I'm anxious to hear it. But we had never known each other prior to maybe a year or two ago, 2 years ago.
Well, I think we really got connected over breakfast out on by the beach in Puerto Vallarta, if I recall correctly. Is that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I knew coming into this company that we were business partners, but you were just a name to me. And right. And then I saw you speak on stage and I'm like, oh, that's my partner. And my husband actually walked up to you at breakfast and said, can we get a photo with you? Can we host a conversation? And you were so humble and gracious to invite us to sit down at the table with you and your wife.
Well, who wouldn't want to sit down with you guys? I mean, come on, you got to be kidding me. I was delighted. It was great to meet you.
Well, it was, we were just wholeheartedly impressed at your generosity in that moment, not only on stage and what you're delivering to agents, but in that moment to invite us to sit and have breakfast.
Oh,
and I learned so much about you over that breakfast that you just continued to add value, and to even our breakfast, you added value. You run some pretty unique things in real estate. You've definitely elevated the game in terms of how you think about things for lead generation, your focus on helping agents grow their business. Tell people, how did this evolve for you? Like, how did it grow to this point for you in your career of helping agents at the high level?
Well, it's everybody's got a story. Mine is similar in some aspects to to people my age who've been in the business a while, who are kind of looking for, what's the next, what do I do next? I mean, what happened, actually, Michelle, I was 58 years old and I kind of had an epiphany one morning. I was at that time, I was, had two kids that were in college, and actually four altogether, that were on college all at the same time. And, I was making really good money, selling real estate and then also coaching agents. But I woke up one day and I thought, wow, it was almost like a deja vu, because when my mom fell ill after my dad died, I became her sole caregiver. My folks had a very humble and modest, life, and they were great folks, very generous hearts. But, at the end of the day, when, they say that you spend, 90% of your insurance you spend in the last 6 months of your life, when you have a chronic debilitating illness like my mom had, that 6 months lasted really like 5 years. And so it was a situation where I was kind of forced to look at my life, and I was really concerned I was going to outlive my money, and I didn't want to put my kids in that position. Well, it was shortly thereafter. I swear this was divine providence here. This is, the good Lord put this together for me. I had really nothing to do with it. But what happened is Brent Gove found me in, I guess it was October of 2016. He was on his way back from the shareholders meeting for a little company called EXP in San Antonio. And he cornered me and he stopped me and he said, Cliff, he said, I've got to tell you, man, you've got to learn about this company. They're disrupting the real estate industry. They've been around a good while, but they're just kicking it into gear. And you got to go talk to this lady over here who was actually standing in line to get Josh Altman, the millionaire listing agent in LA. He was one of our keynotes. She was in line to get her book signed. And so I went over and found Sheila, and I watched a video or it was actually a webinar at that time that kind of described the EXP business model. And this is, gosh, at that time we had about 1,500 agents, I guess, and the stock was still not traded on NASDAQ, and it was trading around $2 a share. And so there were some people, there was all kinds of noise about it. But the fact is, once I saw the model, I had what a lot of people have had in the past. It's called EXP insomnia. Okay, have you heard of that?
Yes, I had it.
You had it. Okay. Well, I got it for 3 days. And, Brent then told me as he was leaving that he was going back to Sacramento and selling his interest in his KW Market Center and moving his entire, 25 agent team that did like 125 in production over to this little company called EXP. And I was like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding. The last thing I was thinking, Michelle, is I need to be moving as an independent broker, right? I thought I had kind of hit the sweet spot, the best you can do in terms of I have the lowest cost structure, yada, yada, yada. And then I see this business model in front of me, and it's just built on, it's like a rocket ship, built to just grow and expand. And I'm thinking to myself, this is one of those moments where, destiny, you really determine your destiny in these types of moments, right? As Tony Robbins would say. And I knew that I had to really, really look at this hard and get myself out of my comfort zone, that this was going to be something so big that I needed to be a part of it. And so that's how I got started in it. And, since then it's been a great ride, but, it was one of those things that, going back and looking at the history of real estate and sort of the changes and the disruption, all the way starting with Century 21 and then going Descendant and, Realogy and then Remax and then Keller Williams and now EXP. And it's always involved some sort of compensation change, for the agent. And now it's completely essentially taken the broker out of the middle of the picture and put the agent in focus. And all of these other legacy firms that, pay lip service to the agent. The fact is now is that agents like you and I, we have ownership in the company, and we have, 2 additional wonderful pillars of income where we can create generational wealth and really build a legacy. So you get me started talking about this and I'll go on for days, but
Me too. Me too.
It's been such a life changer for me. I'm compelled. I feel like the chief evangelist for the company sometimes, but if it is the good news, and believe me, it's great news. It's something that everybody needs to hear.
I think what you talk about is it's so interesting. This connection that I'm hearing repeated over and over again is that you watched your parents get sick, or you had most people have some life event, like something happens, and they think to themselves, gosh, you know what? This can't go on like this. Something needs to change. Not quite sure how, but when you complement the skill set, the education, the training, what you've had in real estate, and you couple it with a rock in your shoe, right? It is such a catalyst for profound change and growth. It's just like the perfect storm of enough energy, enthusiasm, education, and stress or anger or fed upness or, desire for change, whatever, that just creates explosive growth. And you have taken that to like a whole nother level. You are already a coach and a mentor, and you found a way to leverage that even more so with this company. Like that's what I've really respected in you and seen in you for how far that you've taken this thing. I mean, talk about how you've been able to leverage that to help other agents grow, like who you already were coming into this.
Yeah. So, I really got my coaching start back in, I think it was 2005. Keller Williams had just come out with the Productivity Coach playbook and game book, and it was brand new from Maps. And I got tapped on the shoulder for the Frisco Market Center here. At that time, I think we had around 250 agents, somewhere around there. And at any one given time, it was, we had a lot of new agents coming in. So I would have probably 40 agents that were under all the new agents that came in were pretty much required to go through me before they could start selling real estate. And so I saw quite a few, faces then. And it was funny that it was at that office that I ran into Mike Reese and Jay Kinder, and that's another great story. But for 6 years, I went and worked with those guys and coached their elite clients and helped them, grow that coaching business to it was a wonderful thing. And then Mike and Jay, at the advice of Jay Abraham, decided to look at going a different direction outside of coaching. So I went and joined a dear friend of mine, Lars Hedenborg at Real Estate B School, who I had actually coached back in 2010. And he was, setting it on fire and doing a great job with his own brand of coaching. And he still is. I was able to touch and reach a lot of people. But the difference, Michelle, back then was, we'd have to ding people's credit cards for $1,500, $2,000 a month in advance, and then give them a prescribed medication for their business, right? Coach them through wherever they were in their stage and so forth. And it really limited. Not everybody's got that kind of cash to hand to a coach, and many people are afraid to do that. So we've kind of flipped that model around now, and because of EXP, I don't have to rely on that income for keeping my lights on at my house, my car payment made, my mortgage, and so forth. So it's really wonderful because I can pay forward. I can invest in people in advance and kind of get paid on the back end, which has really been a wonderful thing. It's allowed me to touch many more people. I mean, I've got almost 6,700 agents worldwide now. I just pulled up the My EXP, the new cool back end that EXP's created for the sort of the dashboard for the rocket ship, right? And you go in there, and now I can see I've got agents in India and the UK and Portugal, and I'm like, wow, that is crazy. We just opened up in those countries, and I've already got agents that I'm helping and supporting and also earning revenue from in those countries. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It was like 150 agents from, that obviously I haven't met yet. I'm looking forward to, but just to know that I have the reach, that kind of reach and scope, in my life work here now, it's really incredible. So it's beyond my wildest imaginations at this point.
You're going right into the questions, because believe it or not, I write down questions in advance. I'm a preparer, but you're leading right into the stuff I wanted to talk to you about.
Good.
They say, because of course you're, with our model of EXP Realty, like you said, you're not reliant on agents that are at that phase where it's a little bit too risky to write a check to a coach. Like you're now in a seat where you can still help them grow without them having to stroke a check to get to elevate to the next level. And that's just a great spot to be. I mean, if you think about that from another perspective, they say that, having more money just magnifies who you already are. And so this just allows you to magnify that opportunity for people and present it in a whole nother way. But what do you think the future of EXP Realty looks like? I mean, you've been immersed in this company longer than me. It'll be 3 years for me. It's been 3 years, June of 2018 for me. Yeah. And you've been in it just a bit longer than me, and you've been performing at a pretty high level within this company. So what do you think the future is going to bring here?
Oh, every day I'm impressed with what the leadership of this company does. We're growing faster internationally than I had ever dreamed we would. Michael Valdez has done just an amazing job. And then Glenn comes along and, you know, one of those guys, Glenn calling you, huh? You
That
better
was,
check
I
and
didn't
see.
know that. Okay. This is a new phone. I didn't know it was connected. Okay. We're learning. All
But
right.
but Glenn is one of those people that just, I mean, he's such a genius. I mean, look at recently what he's done in terms of, adding to the value of the company by acquiring the Success brand itself. I mean, what a great buy that was, a really undervalued asset. And buying Verbella a couple of years ago and folding it into the company, and nobody could have anticipated COVID, but you would think that Glenn knew it was coming because he prepared this company to thrive and to just, swallow market share during COVID because we were totally online. I was on a connection with some agents trying to figure out how to use Zoom right after COVID. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these poor people, what are they going to do? This is how they lead generate. They go to PTA meetings and they hang out at the soccer fields and stuff. And now they're going to be shut down. And, and we've been generating leads online. And I mean, we're the future. I mean, I just really think that what we're going to see in terms of an industry in the next 5 to 10 years is going to be completely different. My mom was in real estate, Michelle. And
Mhm.
back in the day, she was in the real estate in the 60s and 70s. And, the broker was the source of the leads. The broker controlled the currency. I've always said that leads are the currency of our business. And
Yes.
if you control the leads, then you control the currency, and therefore you control your destiny and where you're going. But at that particular time, especially with reloads and things, they would go directly to the broker, and even individuals would go to the broker, and the broker would then hand out leads and still do the training and all of that sort of thing. Well, you look at fast forward to today, a lot of the training that real estate agents get is done outside of the brokerage. Most
Right.
of the best trainers don't work for a particular brokerage. They're brokerage agnostic. And on top of that, how many people, if I asked you if you were a real estate agent, how many leads did your broker send you last year? And how much did that compare to what you had to pay them just for the privilege of working under their brand, right? And
Yeah.
then not only that, but if you look at the survey, the profile of buyers and sellers that the National Association of Realtors does every year, less than 1% of sellers said that they hired the agent because of the franchise that agent was associated with. So whether you have a balloon or a red this or a yellow that jacket or whatever, it doesn't matter. People don't care when they hire somebody to sell their home. They hire the individual, they hire you because you're integrous, because you know them, because they can trust you. It has
Right.
nothing to do with the brand. And so I tell people that, if you're brand conscious and you think that EXP's brand is not your deal, well, you know what? Here's the way you need to look at it. Your business is like a Mercedes Maybach driving down the highway. Not even a Maybach. Yeah, let's say a Maybach. And it's the Mercedes is your brand and the Maybach is the EXP brand. So it's a sub brand, right? But
Right.
think about what an accelerator, what a business accelerator EXP is, then it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. So agents who have this sort of scotoma or this blind spot about branding need to really get over that and understand that it's their own brand. Courtney Chakroon, our chief marketing officer, has always fought and said, look, it's the agent's brand that comes first. And the EXP brand is just there to complement what's going on. So I really think we're going to see a lot more teams that are going to be taking a lot more of the share because they just operate more efficiently than the Lone Ranger.
Right.
The days of the Lone Ranger real estate agent are gone. They're fading because, you just can't provide all of the services to a client that a well-run team can do. And the same goes for, I hate to say this, but if you're an independent broker out there, you really need to look at how you're going to compete from a technology standpoint. It's not just about being the cheapest. Brokers that are trying to be the low cost provider right now,
Yeah.
that are charging, pennies to do a transaction, how in the world can you serve an agent if you can't make money serving them?
Right.
And that's the whole thing. It's all about value here. If you want to go with the cheapest broker, you're going to get zero value. That's just the way life is. You can't have everything. But if you're looking for value, and value to me is where the wealth lies, that's where you can go in and create wealth. If you're looking for value, you have to look at what's the brokerage doing for me? Okay. Not what am I doing for the broker? What am I paying the broker? But what's the brokerage doing for me? And if you're not, if EXP isn't on your radar, then you really need to take another look. You need to take the time to look under the hood and see what's under there. Because if you're going shopping for a Tesla and you walk into a Ford dealership, you're not going to get the right information. I love Gene Frederick.
Yeah, I do too. And this is exactly where I was going to go with this conversation, is that what do you say to people? Because there's a lot of them out there that they've come to me a year or two ago and they say, Michelle, this thing EXP Realty, I think I see something there, right? And then they didn't make the move. And then you hear again from them, I think I see something there. If you think you see something there, your gut instinct is probably right. I mean, you took the time to explore it. I can just imagine having your own independent brokerage, what kind of attack that must have felt like on your ego, that you built this baby, right, to be the best thing around, and you thought you saw something that maybe you hadn't thought of. What made you continue to look at it again and to go back and to really muddle through it?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And I would have to say this, and if you go through life with a closed mind,
Mm-hmm.
you're only going to see so much of life itself. And I've heard it said that the most expensive thing that a person can own is a closed mind. And I know people, I have dear friends who literally put the blinders on. They got, hit by somebody who was trying to recruit them. And look, we have had some people come to EXP that are out of the other, and I'm not going to mention the brands like Remax and Keller Williams that recruit a lot, but that was a joke. But you still get emails every day from them. And I find it flattering. I really do. I love getting those love notes saying, hey, I'd love to have coffee with you, talk about your business and everything else. That means I'm doing good. But the reality is that other people don't like getting that stuff, and they don't like getting recruited. They don't like being hit on. And unfortunately, as a company, we really believe in attraction. Now, we've had some people who, they just get so excited about it. They can't wait to get on the phone and spew EXP to somebody and talk about it and really be a little bit out of character because, we don't really like to start conversations off about EXP. It's not about EXP. It's about the agent. But right. The reality is that whatever it is that is I can put a trash can out here and let you fill up things that you don't like about EXP. I could do the same about any brokerage, and you could do the same thing. But the reality is, and this is what is really important to understand, if you've ever had a significant accomplishment in your life, if you've ever done anything extraordinary that changed the direction of your life, I would say the chances are about 99% that you had to get out of your comfort zone and take a risk.
Yeah.
Okay? Because success lies outside of your comfort zone. Would you agree with that?
Oh, hands down.
You did not come to EXP without doing some serious discovery. It wasn't like, well, I just think I'm just going to pop over there because it seems like the cool thing to do, right? At all. So, and herein lies the point. There are some people who need to open their minds up and take a closer look and not get the information about the Tesla from the Ford dealership. Believe me, if you were to walk in, Michelle, who were you with before you were Remax, right?
I was independent, and I
You
drove.
were independent. That's right. Suppose you had been with just pick a franchise, pick
Yeah,
it, love them all. And seriously, they're not going away. They're all going to be here. There's
yeah.
a place for everybody.
There
But
was Banker, Century 21, then independent. I've been
But,
there.
but wherever you came from, your broker at that market center is not going to, when you walk in and say, you know what, you've meant so much to me. I really love what you've done for me and my family, but we've made a decision that we're going to move and we're going to make a move to EXP. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate what you've done for me. They're not going to stick their hand out and say, congratulations. That's the best thing you could have ever done in your life. Your family will never be the same. You're going to get 2 additional pillars of income to create generational wealth. You're going to sell more real estate and you're going to start having fun again. Congratulations. It's not going to happen. I promise you. Okay. They're just not going to do it. So
Right.
these decisions they take a little intestinal fortitude. You got to have some stones, in life in general, if you're going to get where you want to be. So, I just think that there are some people, if you ask the top not that only ask 90% of the people who come to EXP what the biggest regret they have about coming to EXP is, what do they answer?
Yeah, I wish I would have got here sooner.
I wish I would have come sooner. Okay.
I would have known sooner. I wish I would have got here sooner. I wish I would have. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so, find somebody that you care about, that who is with EXP, and sit down and have a serious conversation with them about why it might be a good fit for you. That's all I can say.
Minded one.
Open-minded, yes, indeed.
I think people are probably afraid to have the open-minded conversation because they're fearful of the sales pitch and getting sold. And I don't know. I find that's sad to me. It's sad that they're afraid of a sales pitch because, I don't think anyone in this company is really out to sell a bag of goods. I think who you are to me and the people I've experienced have been out to profoundly and deeply change lives.
Well, and that's what it's all about. By the way, Zig Ziglar's, was a true sales leader. And I remember one of the things he said, in fact, we used to go to the same church and, we'd sit on the second pew just down from him. And Zig would say that, sales is what makes the world go round. If it wasn't for sales, there would be no economy. Okay. So, and by the way, we are in real estate sales. We are not in real estate development. We're not in real estate, this or that or the other. We are in real estate sales. We live in a sales life, in a sales world, but we just don't like to be sold. That's it. There's an old saying that a good friend of mine told me one time, and it goes like this: a man's mind changed against his will is of the same opinion still. And that's true. People always believe what they tell themselves, but
Right.
a lot of times they have a hard time believing what you're telling them. Could be right, could be 100% right. And because they didn't come up with the idea, they don't really believe it.
That's true. Very true. This is great conversation. And I'm so glad I got to have other people experience you through social media and this opportunity that it brings. I think one of the things that is the most valuable is the people in this company. And I thank you for your time here today and sharing what you bring to the table. So thank you, Cliff.
Well, you're welcome. We're not out of time yet, are we?
Yeah, it's been a half an hour. Can you believe it?
You're kidding. Well, let's go for an hour. Is that okay?
Whatever you want. I'll cancel my appointments for you, buddy. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Michelle, thank you. I'm excited to be here, and thank you for just being who you are. I mean, you're a model for an EXP agent and representative, and I would say that you nailed it just now when you said it's about the people.
Yeah.
If you imagine if you lived in a world where there were no barriers of access to other superstars in your company, where people genuinely wanted to help you and they were tied with you together at the hip with things like stock and revenue share. And when they got out of bed, all they thought about were ways that they could help other people. I mean, that's what EXP is all about. And I've never experienced anything like it in really anywhere. And it's inconceivable to me that if you take a hard look at this model, that you'd want to hang your license anywhere else if you've really taken an honest look at it. So I just want to, it's almost an urgent appeal, because, I'm believing that we're going to have 60,000 people come to EXP this year. And there's a reason why. And if you're not clear, if you have something that has not, if you don't have a clear idea of what the business model is, then please, you owe it to yourself to take the time to get a close look at it.
Thank you, Cliff. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, Michelle. It's great. We're going to get together in Cabo, right? You going to be there?
Yes, sir. I cannot wait.
I am excited. Yes. Hey, let's invite some people on the show today to Cabo. I've got a couple of rooms left.
You do?
Yeah. Let's see if anybody, maybe there's some people who aren't with EXP yet that would like to experience one of our events. Who knows?
Most generous offers to go to Cabo San Lucas in April. Holy smokes.
It'll be the highest level mastermind you've ever seen. 600 of the top agents in the world getting together to have a little fun and sun in Mexico, baby.
If you are not with this company and you do not have a ticket to Cabo San Lucas, send me a message and we'll see what we can work out for you.
There you go. Let's do it.
Let's go. All right. Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you, Michelle. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it.